Hi, everybody, on a Wednesday, and we have ourselves a heat wave coming. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill coming to you from the KGW weather office in downtown Portland. And, uh, for starters, this heat wave with the extreme heat watch up from the Weather Service for Friday, Saturday, Sunday is really identical in the temperature potential to what we had last time. And remember, last time the hottest day in Salem was 102. Portland actually went PDX 99, 99, 99. The Dallas hit 105. So we're going to, I think, without doubt, see at least parts of the valley get up to 100 degrees either Friday, Saturday, or both days once again. And the warning map from the Weather Service, let's start here. This is the same area that we had warned for last time, from Cottage Grove north up I-5 through Albany, Salem, Portland, Vancouver, Kelso, Longview, Castle Rock, in the gorge out to Hood River. Everybody in this colored zone is the Weather Service basically saying you could hit 100 degrees, or at least you're going to be really close to it. And then you wonder, well, we know the Dallas is going to hit 100. Why aren't they warned for? Because warnings are tied closely to what your body is climatized to. So folks in the Dalles, Wasco County, are much more used to 100-degree weather than we are here in the Willamette Valley, for example. So that's why. Now, what's different this time? 5 to 6 days of reaching 90 or more. Last time we only hit 93 days in a row. And interesting, they were all 99. But so if we go 5, 6 days in a row of this, of 90 plus, it's the longest heat wave we've had so far this summer. Here's the setup. Then I'll touch more on this in a second. But there's the upper level high. Again, remember last time the heat wave actually was a high ridge that came in from the Pacific. Watch my mouse. This time it's more typical. It's coming up out of the desert Southwest, ridging well up into Canada, and we're definitely going to be in the hot zone, as we mentioned, or I mentioned a moment ago, for several days in a row. This is another case where there's not an all-out dominant east wind flow like we traditionally would have with these near 100-degree days. But the wind flow does favor north to northeast, and that would favor at least one, if not 2 days of temperatures in the 80s along the coast. So, all right, let's get you going. I've got several things I want to touch on. Here is what I just mentioned, the extreme heat wave or extreme heat watch map from NWS. This is a timing thing. I would think at some point tomorrow on Thursday, this map will be upgraded to an extreme heat warning. Okay, it's a timing thing. Watch the warning, if you will. Now, here are the records for the dates upcoming out at PDX. So interesting, the Friday's record for the date at PDX is 98 back in the August of 1942. I'm forecasting 98, thinking we could hit 100. So I'll be really surprised if we don't at least tie that record. Saturday, the record's 101 back in 1988, forecasting 98. We could get to 101. Don't be surprised to see my 7-day forecast have higher numbers on tomorrow. I'm just kind of waiting to see how things are going to play out. And then Sunday, 95, I've actually updated this to say 96, and the record's 99. So that record from 1982 is also in play. And real quick, Hood to Coast Relay is this Friday morning. It starts at Timberline. Runners come in to Portland Friday afternoon, Friday night, and then into Seaside Saturday. So if you look in the record book, Hood to Coast isn't always the same dates. But if you look at the record book for Portland from August 18th through the 31st, the highest record you find is 102. Well, you can make the case we will be 102 on Friday. So if that's the case, this is absolutely going to be one of the hottest Hood to Coast relays ever run. And maybe it's going to end up being the hottest. So that is a developing news story in terms of the, concern of runners staying hydrated and struggling in the elements. Now, 5, 6 days of being sunny and 90 or better. Vegetation is going to dry out even more so than it already is. That alone will increase fire danger, right? There's not going to be any lightning. It's just going to be sunny day after day. But machinery in fields that can spark, people camping that can spark, any blazes will quickly spread. So fire danger will be high. And with that said, this is the updated Northwest Large Wildfire map this morning. And the news is just terrific. I realized earlier this summer, very tragic fires in the Columbia River Gorge on both sides of the gorge, Washington and Oregon. But with that said, if you just look at the sheer numbers of large wildfires that we've had so far this summer season, it's been a really low activity season so far, to the point that the only fire burning in Oregon on this 20th day of August is this one. the Hooker Creek fire, and it's 100% contained out near the Idaho border. And that's it. Oregon only has three, and only one of them, the Palmas fire, is lacking containment. So hopefully we won't have anything new sparked with this hot weather coming. If it is any fires that would be sparked by humans. So let's hope we get through, right? Okay. We always shout out the Momentous Wealth podcast. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, listen on Spotify. These are investment topics meant to educate you, and we thank them. Let's get you going. So the National Blended Model, which is a new model over the last couple of years that the Weather Service came up with. They basically said we're going to take the output of the European and the American models, and I think the Canadian model might be factored in as well. I'm not positive. And let's just do the interpolation in a model form. So we put all the models together, and this is the interpolative result. These are the figures that are probably most heavily pulled from for your phone, for example. So here we go. This is tomorrow, Thursday. Thursday, tomorrow is the day that you're going to notice, hey, starting to get hot. And this shows upper 80s to 90 degrees in the Willamette Valley. Shows about 80 up through Olympia and Tacoma, and upper 70s in Seattle, low 90s in the Columbia Basin. Now, the extreme heat watch, which will become a warning, starts Friday. Here we go. Look at the Willamette Valley, 98, 99, 100. Look at Medford, 106. Upper 80s to 90 from Seattle around through Tacoma. Well up into the 90s in the Columbia Basin. Here's Saturday, day 2 of extreme temperatures. This does not interestingly show 100 degrees. The European model loves 100-degree temperatures, I will tell you, both on Friday and Saturday. This keeps us 99, 98, 97. Obviously, it could be 100. 105 down in Medford, reaching 90 up in Seattle, 100 degrees in the Columbia Basin. Now let's go to Sunday. Most models say maybe a degree or two cooler, but not all. Some models still show it could be 100. This shows 96, 97 in the Willamette Valley, nearing 90 up in Seattle, 104 in Medford, 100 degrees out in the Columbia Basin. Here's Monday, 100 in the Columbia Basin. Valley temperatures back off somewhat, but they're still 94, 95, 96. Still 103 in Medford, still upper 80s up in Seattle. Here's Tuesday, good grief. Still reaching 90, but low 90s in Portland through Salem, still 100 in Medford, mid 80s in Seattle, 100 degrees in the Columbia Basin. Wednesday, according to this, Portland could still hit 90. Let's say Portland hits 90 tomorrow, which Portland could do on Thursday. That'd be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That'd be 7 consecutive days. This shows that we're going to be close in Portland and Salem to reaching 90 again on Wednesday. Thursday, according to this model, is the cool down day. Mid 80s, still warm. Still 81 up in Seattle, still mid 90s in Columbia Basin, 93 down in Medford. So the longest stretch of heat, I would say that's a full confidence call at this point that we have seen so far this winter season. And with that said, I'm sorry, here's this. I want to talk about wind a little bit. So this is hard to see. These are streamlines. See that if you look at my mouse, see the line and see there's a little arrow. So this is showing on Friday morning, there's a north wind along the coast, gusting into the 20 plus mile per hour range. It's showing Friday morning in the valley of Portland. See the little arrow? This is a light northeast wind. Here's a light east wind in the South Willamette Valley down into the Grants Pass area. Again, east winds totally shut down the Pacific and allow the air mass to be that much warmer because there's no moderation coming in whatsoever. Here's Friday afternoon. What we got? Northwest winds at the coast to 20 something. You've got east winds blowing out into the gorge to about 15. You've got variable winds in Portland and Salem. But again, that's no Pacific moderation. Let's go ahead and play this into Saturday morning. This is what forecasters do. We look at these wind patterns because if you have an east wind, you're almost always going to, if it's a pure east wind, in your mind, you're thinking maybe the temperature is going to be 5 degrees hotter than what I think it's going to be. So this is when we can really get out of trouble. This is Saturday morning. This is all what we call, see these arrows from the east? This is blanketing the entire Willamette Valley. This is what we call downslope winds. The wind comes down the Cascade slopes into the valley, and that actually produces compressive warming. So if this holds all day Saturday, I would love Portland's chances of hitting 100 degrees on Saturday. Love it. I mean, not love it, but love it. Still north winds along the coast. Let's go into Saturday afternoon. Now, Saturday afternoon, look what happens because the wind wasn't really strong. Now we got northwest winds of 20 along the coast. And if you look at the wind barbs, it's kind of a variable to a north to maybe northwest wind in the valley now. That makes the temperature forecast a little bit more difficult. And let's just play this into Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon, it's more vividly to see. It's a northwest wind flow with the contours. And that, I think, is why, above all, that models are going, well, the worst of the heat's Friday, Saturday, at least a couple degrees cooler Sunday because of a northwest flow moderation. All right, let's go around the horn. I'm just looking at temperatures. 91 today, Medford, 99 Thursday. Then here we go, 105, 104, 103 in Medford. Pendleton, 86, 89, 94 Friday, 96 Saturday, 96 Sunday. Not as hot out east as it will be here in the Willamette Valley. And sometimes that happens in these heat spells, right? Can happen. Let's go to the Dows, which hit 105 last time. Models go 100, 101, 101, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We'll see if it gets hotter than that. Okay. Let's go up to Seattle. Remember, we're talking about well up into the 80s. This shows Friday 85, Saturday 86, Sunday 86. Could be a little bit warmer. We'll see. Still in the 80s into Tuesday. That's a long stretch of sunny 80 plus degree weather for Seattle, really. Here's Bend, 90 on Thursday, mid 90s Friday and Saturday. That's not bad, really. That's hot, but that's not overly crazy in Central Oregon. Here is Salem. Remember, hit 102 last heat wave. This goes 99 Friday, 98 Saturday, 96 Sunday. I think it is likely, I'm going to go against this a little bit and say it's likely that Salem at least hits 100 degrees on Friday or Saturday or both. We'll see. Models can underplay some of these extreme temperatures. Here's Seaside, nearing 80 Friday, maybe hitting it. Nearing Saturday, 80. It shows 77, maybe hitting 80. Seaside usually overperforms if the wind. Now, remember, we saw northwesterly wind right along the beach, but maybe it's a calmer wind right along the just inland where the towns are. So we'll see. Here's North Bend. Yeah, all 60s. How about that? Okay. Portland 7-day, and I'll let you go. Courtesy of Hazeldale Tire Pros up in Vancouver on the I-5 sides where I get all my tires done. Great people, done it for years. Really been a happy customer. 83 this afternoon. Tomorrow's the heat turn-up day. 89, maybe we hit 90. And then 98, maybe 100 Friday. 98, greater chance of maybe 100 on Saturday. At least a couple degrees Sunday, cooler, but still 96. Still mid-90s on Monday. Still 92 on Tuesday. That's the update. All right. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It helps me out. You'll be notified when I post, and I will talk to you soon.